I'm a-coming, I'm a-coming, I'm a-coming. Here we are, seated in my own little bubble. There we go. I did it just like Lewis said, and it worked. So I will be able to show you some of the cameras that we're going to talk about. Hey, how are you doing? Let's make sure the microphone is on. Hi, Woody. How are you doing? Good to see you. That is Eleanor. Let's double check the cameras. There's the Canon R6 Mark II. Here's one of my favorites, the Nikon. Now, did I get the overhead camera to work? Let's see. Yes, I did. Look at that. Hi, Woody. Hi, Hal. All right, Peter's being silly. Okay, so I want to make a video on the big channel, and I want to compare the Canon R10 with something that would compete with it, which would be a Sony E10. Ironically, they've got the same number, the same exact number, 10, number 10. First, let me get settled in because I was running to get in over here, and the reason was I wasn't able to get the Nikon to start working properly. So I was up on a ladder, which is not a good thing to do right before a show, is to get up on a ladder. So let's start by saying, I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. Did you really? Did you? Okay, I did, and everything went well. We were going to an Airbnb, but it got canceled out at the last minute. So I'm packed, ready to come. Can I come to your house? Maybe I could spend 2 or 3 days? Maybe 2 days. 3 days is a lot when you go to somebody's house. So anyway, we are... Oh, and I took this camera that you're looking at right now with me. And I was changing the settings. I even handed it off to a few other people for them to do it. You know, the camera being white, we don't pay attention to it because we are very intimate with our own camera. We use it, no big deal. But when the camera interacts with other people, ordinary people, I'm talking about just people that, you know, anybody, Woody, Jim, hi Jim, Randy, hi Randy, Mookie, hi Mookie, you know, and if they got girlfriends or wives, the white camera is a lot less putting off than the black camera. So I have the A7C Mark II, which I love this camera. Actually, it's unique because all the cameras that are in here right now are basically cameras that I absolutely love. It's true. So it's like there's not a bad one in a bunch. I would say the least favorite camera would probably be the little camera, the ZV-1, not the E1. The E1 is Eleanor. Eleanor, you got a thing about you. I just can't live without you. I really want you, Eleanor, near me. And that's why it's called Eleanor, because Peter loves that song. What can I tell you? All right, so I'm doing a little bit of adjustments. Sly was in Las Vegas. I spoke to her, and she had to, well, the first night out, she did great on the live show. Not last Tuesday, but the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, okay? And she found a spot where the lighting was just, oh my God, the lighting was fantastic. You know, lighting is so crucial. We spend so much time on the camera. What camera should I buy? What camera should I buy? Should I buy this lens or should I not buy this lens? And then it's back to what camera should I buy? Should I buy this camera? Should I not buy this camera? This is Lumix S5 Mark II. And you say, Peter, why didn't you take this one for Thanksgiving? Because of the color white. This one would have been great, and I have a 10-18 lens on here, which would have worked great for vlogging. But the 11mm lens on this camera, let's go over to it if I can find my mouse. Where is that mouse? Here she is. All right, Sony Eleanor ZV-E1. ZV-E1 versus the ZV-1. See the ZV-1, little baby camera. Okay, the ZV-10, ZV-E10 is just a little bit bigger, but you get a whole lot more stuff. Okay, and they both got that fuzzy thing up on top. I think this would be a good time to actually use the overhead camera. I put it up there and I hardly ever use the thing. Okay, so this is the ZV-E1. Yeah. And no, that's not true. It's not the ZV-E1. See how small it is? It just kind of like fits in my hand. All right, so if I keep my hand there and I put the E10 in my hand, significantly bigger, right? So even though it looks a lot bigger, it really isn't a lot bigger. So the difference is on your left, which would be this camera that I'm going up and down with, you could change the lens. The lens comes off, and that is the kit lens that's on there. On this one right here, which is the ZV-1, if I get it centerized, yeah. See, you always got to go the opposite way. So I want to move it to the right, okay. Well, actually, now that I'm explaining it to you, it works better. Okay, so if I want to move it down, I would go like this. So that's where my problem is. I have a problem with the difference between down and up, not left and right. Left is this way, and right is this way. Now, down is away from me, and up is closer to me, okay? Now, getting back to the topic, all right? If I can get them both in the frame. So the ZV-1 is on your right. I'm going to wiggle the camera. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Okay. And the E10 is this one. I'll wiggle that camera. All right. So if you buy this camera here, you don't have to choose a lens. It's built in. You can't take it off even if you wanted to. And on this camera, you can actually push the button and the lens comes off. Now you get to go shopping, spend money, and buy the lens. So the lens that I'm putting on here now is what's called the kit lens, or the lens that comes with it. Okay, there we go. Okay. Now they have an updated version of the E10, and that, guess what that's called? E10 Mark II. Okay. So that's why I set it up with Lewis's help, where I can actually come over here, and I want to make sure the microphone is on. So if you can't hear me, tell me right away, immediately. As a matter of fact, let me take my phone out of my pocket. I see Randy's in the room. So if you cannot hear me when I go over to the desktop, see, my desktop, I don't have two monitors to work with, okay? So if the mic is not on, I won't know it, and I'll be talking and you'll just be seeing nothing going on. All right, so let's go to the desktop, and I'll be down here in the corner so you can still see me, okay? And now I'm going to the desktop, and let me get one of these windows out of the way. All right, so here is the Canon EOS R10. It's a mirrorless camera. It's 24 megapixels, and it's $879 because it's on sale. But it's always been $879, so I don't know what that means. It's on sale. So they must have come out with it at a list price of $979, and it's just perpetually on sale. So I don't know why you would buy an $879 brand new camera and get an open box from $979. Doesn't make sense. So that's just B&H trying to catch up with themselves. Now, the problem with this camera is you do have to get a lens. So if you want to get a lens with it, it's going to go higher than $879. Now, let's keep some of these things in, nail them in our mind. 24 megapixels, okay, and it goes up to 4K 30 video, and it'll go to 4K 60 with a crop. All right, now that is the Canon, and it will use the Canon RF and RFS lenses. So if I actually open this up, that's what it looks like. So let me come back to the show and make sure nobody says they can't hear me. Thank you, Randy. The microphone is on. So I did it right. Me did it right. Okay, so now I'll go back to where I can see the B&H picture here. Okay. Now I have this camera. Let's go back to me for a quick second. Okay. I actually have this camera. Where is it? It is, I'm going to have to get up from the chair because I didn't bring it over. I'm walking and a-talking. All right, I got the camera in my hand. It's right here. So let's go full screen real quick. All right, so this is the Canon R10. Now, Canon makes a really good camera. And other than one major feature for me, this camera is fine. It's small. It does use the smaller battery, which I don't like, but you don't get a choice. You're just going to have to buy a couple of extra batteries to keep them with you. And it's what is it? The nature of the beast. But if you pair it with this kit lens, it's a 10 to 18, but it is actually a slow lens. But the camera does very well in low light. It doesn't do fantastic, but it does pretty good. Okay? And then the lens, watch, it'll even fold in more. Now it's in its sleeping position. And this is where I use the overhead camera so that I can show you. It's in the sleeping position, okay? And then if I pull it out of the sleeping position, it goes over to 10 millimeters and it comes out. And now you can go from 10 to 18, and that is your zoom. Now remember, this is a 1.6 crop camera. It's not a full frame camera. So the crop on this would make it a 16 millimeter. And on Canon, 16 millimeter is very nice. All right, so that's what the camera looks like. Let's come back over here so you guys can see me. Okay. So this is the one of the cameras that would be in contention. Now I'm thinking of somebody like Louis Lazuka. He keeps asking, is that the camera I should buy? Okay. Now, if you want a Canon camera, this is fine. The competitor to the Canon camera would be the E10, which is this camera. All right, and I'll show you the pricing on that in a second. So they're both 24 megapixels. We'll see that in a second. But just in looking at them from the back side, one has a built-in EVF for you to look through your eye, and the Sony does not. Okay? So that is the difference between these two. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on your comments. D700 is the one to get. Any camera that's not developed with video nowadays, I would just say no. Okay? So Scotty says he just got in the door. Let's start over. Hey, welcome. It's Friday night, and it's the week after Thanksgiving. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and we're talking about the E10 from Sony and the R10 from Canon. And I'm thinking and targeting this kind of along the lines of Louis Lazuka. Louis is always like, what camera do I buy? What camera do I buy? Well, he's not alone. a lot of people out there don't know what camera to buy. So I have the desktop open. Let's go take a look at some of the specifications on these cameras, because that might make you target a different camera. All right, so let's go to my desktop where you can see the desktop. Okay, so here we go. All right, so here is my desktop, and I have the R10 right up there from B&H. Okay, so $879. Now, if you want it with a let's say a basic kit lens, the 18 to 45, you're going to have to add $120. So if we click on that, that will make this $999. Okay, so if we go over to the Sony, which is this one, oh, look, the Sony's on sale. I didn't even know it. All right, so the Sony E10 without a lens, which is the one I was holding a moment ago, is now $598. So the difference between $598 and $879 is $500, $600, $700, $800, $300. All right. Now, what do you get for that? You get a viewfinder. Now, if you go with the kit lens, which one is the kit lens? It's $100 more. It would be this one, the 16 millimeter to 50 millimeter, and that is the actual lens that I have on there. So you could probably still see me in the circle in the bottom left. Okay, so this lens is electric, so if I turn the camera on, okay, you'll see that it pops up by itself, where on the Canon you have to raise it up and lower it down. Okay, this one will handle it, and this one is also an electronic zoom, which you could see me playing with it with my finger here. I'm in the little circle on the bottom left. Okay, so that is the difference. Now, this is actually a very good buy, because for the regular retail price, all right, you actually will get this with a lens, and it's $698. Okay, now here's where the gotcha comes in. The Canon, the R10, we're at $998. Can we round them up, please? Okay, because these $998, $698, for $1 or $2 more, you know, this is $700, what you're looking at right now. Okay, let me get this out of the circle. Okay, now for that same amount, you can go to the E10 Mark II. Now, what does the E10 Mark II give you? All right, the E10 Mark II will give you 60p in an uncropped, okay, mode, and it'll also add 10-bit, and it'll add 422. So if you could squeeze a couple of $100 out, you can go for this camera, and you can also get the kit lens for $100, all right, and that'll bring it out to $1,100. So the Canon R10 and the Sony E10 are running neck and neck. All right, now here's where the difference comes in. It might not be your thing, but it is my thing. Okay, on the Canon R10, it has built-in image stabilization, and this image stabilization is something that I have been harping on a lot lately. Image stabilization is very important. When I walk around and I pull the LCD screen out and I talk, okay, I'm holding the camera up like this and I'm talking and I'm trying to make content. Content is that which you put up online. It's your video clips, okay? The stabilization that's built into this camera is limited to what the camera can do. That's obvious. That's not rocket science. Now, if I do the same thing with the E10, which is a couple of $100 cheaper, I lose the viewfinder, okay, but I gain something else. I still get the flippy screen, so I can turn this around and aim it at me, okay, and see the camera's on. You can see, and I can talk. Now what I can do is record it, turn the stabilization on, and it is what it is. The same thing with this camera. The stabilization, it is what it is. However, there is one additional step that this camera will allow that Nikon and Canon do not allow, and I don't see a reason for it. In this camera, meaning the Sony E10 and the E10 Mark II, it'll record your video, and then you take your card out, wherever the card is on this one. I think it's in the battery case. I don't have a card in there, okay. You take your card out, pretend I'm holding an SD card. All right, now you put it in your computer, and you're going to run it through Final Cut Pro or your Adobe or whatever software that you decide you're going to do. And on the Canon, it is what it is in your stabilization. On the Sony, it is not what it is, okay? You've got one extra step that is available as a separate choice. And this is something that I am and have been harping on. This will allow the camera, and does record the gyro data. There's a gyro, you know, probably a chip. It's not like something spinning inside. Okay, it's a gyro. And if I go like this, because I'm quirky with my hand, okay, it's recording that I went like this, okay? And if I'm shaking because I'm older and maybe the camera gets a little bit shaky, see my hand shaking? All right, all that gyro data is being recorded onto the SD card. It doesn't interfere with your clip at all. However, if you take it to an external software, that's a choice that you have, or you might say, like, I don't want to do that. Like, I know my friend Randy doesn't particularly care to go to a third-party software. He says, when I'm finished, I'm finished. Why do I have to go to another software to actually finish my film? He doesn't like it. So he looks for the cameras and what they can do, period. One and done. I'm of a different mindset. I want my stabilization to look better than what it's giving me. So what I do is I take that file and I put it in software. And the software is free, and it's called Catalyst Browse. Catalyst Browse is made by Sony. Now, because it's made by Sony, they have a couple of different levels. And they give you the free software, but they handicap it, okay? Like my buddy would say, Cripple Hammer, the software. Cripple Hammer, the camera. Cripple Hammer, a lens, meaning they take it and they cripple it. And if you pay money to Sony, they will uncripple it. Okay. So what is the crippling that's happening? Does it matter? Does it mean anything? Can you live without it? So the crippling that happens is, first of all, no matter how you set the camera, this one will only go to 8-bit and 420. And this one meaning the E10, but not the Mark II. Now, if you pony up and buy the E10 Mark II, you actually get 10-bit over 8-bit that's in my camera here, and you get 422 over 420 that's in my camera here. So if this was the Mark II, I would get those two added features, and then it adds a better focusing system, and it adds the ability to birds in flight and all that kind of stuff. So it gives you the newer menu on the Mark II. And then again, you'd have to decide, is it for you or is it not for you? So the E10 Mark II is actually probably one of the best buys on the market for dollars, but might not be for everybody, you know, in terms of features. But in terms of dollars, what you get the most camera with the highest quality picture on the Sony E10 Mark II. And if you want to lower the price, lose a few features, okay, specifically 10-bit will lower down to 8-bit, and 422 will lower down to 420, which I've been doing all along. I don't have the Mark II. Okay, I have the Mark I. If I had a chance or a choice, yeah, I would take and purchase the Mark II. Okay. Now, one of the biggest, I don't know, bump in the road, is that what you would call it? One of the biggest humps is if a person has lenses, it becomes a tripping point. It becomes something that they can't handle. Okay. I have these Canon lenses, and by golly, why should I give up all my lenses and start a whole new thing all over again? Well, if the features, here's my reply to that. If the features on the camera is something that's seriously appealing to you, okay, you have a few choices. You can go back down to my little camera, which is the ZV-1. All right, now this camera is basically a pocket camera. You can't change the lenses. The lenses are built in. Now, they make a ZV-1 Mark II, and they give you all the features that are in the E10 Mark II. They give you the newer sound, microphone, and all that stuff. So the sound is better, the focus is better. You've got the 422, you've got 10-bit, you've got a wider lens instead of a narrower lens. This is more telephoto, and the ZV-1 Mark II is wider. So you've got quite a bit of things to choose from. Now, the reason I don't spend a lot of time on the little ones is most of us that actually are going to go to a camera, we want something more than what a phone is going to give you. You can't change the lens on a phone, and you're limited. All right, so this one gives you a 1/2-inch sensor, which is a step better than a phone. And the ZV-1 camera Mark II is a better camera than this one. So again, on the little baby camera, you would go for the Mark II. Okay, I just wanted you to know the Mark I is available, and it's still for sale. But the Mark II has got all the newest and bluest. So on the baby one, where you don't change the lenses, you would go with the ZV-1 Mark II. Now, if you go to the E10, the E10 Mark I is a viable camera. The E10 Mark II is a better camera. And then if you want to go to Canon, the R10 is an excellent camera. All right, now what would make me go to the E10, and I would probably try to squeeze out the E10 Mark II dollar-wise, okay? I wish this was an E10 Mark II, but because I have the Sony, myself, this is not you, but this is me, because I have the Sony A7C Mark II, that negates the need for the E10 Mark II, because that adds, on top of everything that I've talked about, it adds full frame. And I could still take and put the little baby lenses on here, and the camera will actually drop down into a crop sensor mode, and it starts off at 33 megapixels. So this is a winner chicken dinner camera. But not everybody can move up to a $2,000 camera, which is why I'm staying and talking about the E10 and the E10 Mark II. Now, I never finished addressing what about the lenses? I got 5 or 6 Canon lenses. I don't think I want to start. I'm talking like I was you now, okay? I don't think I want to start and buy new lenses for my camera. Well, there's a couple of things that you can do, and that is you don't need that many lenses. Honestly, if you're going to walk about and talk about, okay, the, where is it? This guy here. The Sigma 10 to 18 lens comes on the Lumix mount, it comes on the Nikon mount, and I think it comes on the Nikon mount. And now it's coming on the Canon mount, and it comes on the Sony mount. So that is one lens. And what's that lens going to handle? It's going to handle all your wide angle stuff. If you want to talk to the camera, you're going to use that lens. If you want to turn around and do a show and tell, you can zoom it out to 18 millimeters, and because you've got a 24 millimeter 24 megapixel sensor, you can cut half of it down and you're still at 12 megapixels, which is what Eleanor runs. That's the one you're looking at now. So this baby here, Eleanor, the ZV-E1, starts at 12 megapixels only. They're big, fat, juicy megapixels, which is why you buy that camera. It's good for low light, okay? But if you start at 24 megapixels, you can crop, and still even have more megapixels available than you got on my Eleanor. If you start with this one, which is, it packs a punch in the wallet, you're starting at 33 megapixels. So the very wide lens, and then you know what? One of the kit lenses, like on this one, is the 16 to 50 kit lens. It costs $100 if you buy it with the camera. If you don't buy it with the camera, it's more than $100. But if I buy this camera with this lens, it's $698 on the E10. So when I say this camera, I mean the E10, Sony E10, the Mark I, the original one, is running on sale now for $698. If I didn't put links to all this down below, I really should have, because if you need to see it, or if you're going to buy anything, it gives a commission to my channel, which helps the channel tremendously. Thank you very much. Okay. And with the 16 to 50, it basically is a 24 to 70 because we're running crop. Okay. So the kit lens and a wide lens on the Sony, you could get the 10 to 18, which is a zoom. Or I like to run, do I have it here? I don't have it on my desk. I like to run the 11 millimeter. The 11 millimeter Sony brand 1.8 does all my walk and talk. And I can also zoom that because Sony will give me something called clear image zoom. So even if you've got 20 lenses on Nikon or 20 lenses on Canon, and there's something about the Sony, like the ability to really spice up your stabilization so it looks like you went out and bought a $1,000 gimbal, okay? If that appeals to you, you don't have to buy a $1,000 gimbal. Just use the gyro data, and it makes it look steady as can be. So I will do a video on the big channel where I compare specifically the stabilization on the E10, and I will compare to me walking around in the backyard with the R10. They're both crop sensor cameras. Okay, the Canon R10 gives you a viewfinder, so you can look through the viewfinder. If that's more appealing than stabilization, then Canon is your baby. Okay, and that is quite powerful. And they're coming out with that Sigma 10 to 18 millimeter lens for the RF mount, which would be here. It's actually RFS, but I'm talking about the mount that goes on the mirrorless. It's already available on the Sony, and it's also available on this Lumix. So it's all the way around. But I don't own the 10 to 18 for the Sony, but I do own the 11 millimeter. And the 11 millimeter 1.8, I love that lens. I took that and put that lens on it for Thanksgiving. And you know what? It worked great. And I was even able to zoom quite a bit of my final footage. So I got all the data out on the Canon R10 versus the Sony E10. The Sony E10 will allow you to do additional stabilization after the fact. Canon, it is what it is. What you come home with your stabilization, that's what you're going to stay with. You could use stabilization like in Final Cut or Premiere, but they just enhance the wobble. I don't like that wobble. See, each person has their own little tick on what they will accept and what they won't accept. So the wobble to me is not acceptable. So what the wobble means is that I might stay steady, But right here where my ears are and all the way to the ends of the frame, this hand, okay, this starts to wobble while my face, my nose, and my eyes stay steady. And if you say, well, what's wrong with that? It's enough to distract you. It's enough to see, like, what is Star Trek beaming somebody in? That's what the wobble looks like. It looks like when Star Trek is beaming in and beaming out. Scotty beams you up, and you go, you know. These part out here start to do those funky things, and that just irritates me. So with the Sony camera, that's gone because it's not adjusting the image based on reading and analyzing the image. It's adjusting the image based on the gyro, your handshakes, what handshakes you've introduced. That's recorded on Sony. Nikon does not record that. I wish they would, because it would take something like the Z50 Mark II or the R10, and that would be the Mark I. If this had that gyro data recorded in the camera, and I didn't like the way it actually stabilized, I could stabilize it after the fact. Of course, it's my choice, because like I said, my buddy Randy, he doesn't like that. He'll do it if he has to, but he prefers to take it out of the camera and call it acceptable, and he's done, okay? And you might be that type. And that gyro data also helps with your still pictures. So I like the fact that Sony's, most of their newer cameras, I would say in the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, actually adds the gyro data getting recorded. It apparently is not that expensive. So it should be in the Canon, and they need to make it so that it works and you can use it. That would be a major thing. Okay? All right, so that ends the part of the show where I do some camera comparisons. If I didn't cover something, then I will look here and see what you guys have been saying. And let's do all the hellos and see what you got to say. And that'll be... I see my show getting divided up into camera talk, personal hellos. That's where we fellowship with each other. And then lately I do something that I happen to like at the end of my shows. I like to talk about stuff from the Bible. And I'll add that after we spend some time with each other. So God taught me something this week. I can't wait to share it with you. But that's not this section. This section, we're going to go to the big room, the big room, and we're going to say hi to everybody, see how you're doing. Hello, Peter and everybody. Tell me how your Thanksgiving went. What did you eat turkey? Did you bypass turkey? There's a lot of people that are now bypassing turkey. They'll say something to the effect like, we're tired of turkey, so we had steak. Okay? Well, I personally like chicken better than I like turkey. But we did have a turkey, and I did record making a turkey. And the turkey that I made came out astoundingly good. I would have to say it's probably the best one I've made yet. I did something very different. You know, when I got the... I know, I'm mixing up my hellos with the cameras again. When I got the A7C Mark II... When this was first announced, I poo-pooed this camera. I went like, what's the point? I like Eleanor better, okay? Now, since I have this camera here, thanks to Randy, I've gotten to use it. I got to keep it not in the microphone so you can hear me better, all right? And this is a great go-to camera. It's full frame, 33 megapixel. It takes my little bitty lenses, so it becomes very small. Very light. It's got regular sucky Sony stabilization. Does it have gyro data in it? Well, I'm glad you asked, because yes, it does. Okay, so this has wound up to be a very attractive camera. Now, I wish this camera came in white. It comes with a silver top, but it still looks like a camera. The white camera just... it backs people down with like, is that a camera you have in my face? Get that camera out of my face. So the white camera backs that down. So Where was I? Oh, I was saying hi to Woody, and Hal is here. Hi, all. Hi, Hal. Hi, all. Boy, that almost rhymes, Hal. That's pretty good. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Woody said, I had 3 Thanksgivings last week, so he had Thanksgiving dinner 3 times. Like, wow, that's a lot of Thanksgiving dinners. But I bet that's a lot of fun. And if each one of them have a pumpkin pie, mashed potatoes, mashed sweet potatoes, count me in. I'll skip on the turkey so I can lower my calorie intake. So love you, Hal. Thank you for being here. Love you, Woody. I'm glad you had 3. Well, he's got grandkids, so I'm sure he went there for one of them. And then he probably went to other relatives' houses. So I bet some of you guys are in that same boat where you went to more than one relative's house for Thanksgiving, or they gathered them all up for you and you were able to go to one place, which is what we do. All of us go to my brother's house, and I went to my brother's house and had a great Thanksgiving. And here is my buddy Jim. How you doing? Happy Friday. How you doing, Jim? Happy belated Thanksgiving. I know Jim is or was up in Boston. He wanted it not to snow because I communicated with him. And then he was headed back, and then he's going to come down to Florida. Now, if I can convince him to come here and spend a little time with me, that would be wonderful. I love it when you guys come here. That is absolutely awesome. So, hi, Jim. Love you, buddy. Here's Randy. Hello, everybody. How you doing, Randy? How's things in Texas? Are you still awake? What time is it? It's 10:43 here, so it's 9:43 there. Randy, once he eats, he kind of falls asleep. And so I don't know if he's up or not. So, Mookie, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Love you, Mookie. Bo, Derek, can star in your video and call it 10. How original that would be. 10. You guys know there was a movie called 10, right? I know I'm talking to an older crowd, so you guys know what movies were out there. But there was a movie with a very sexy girl. Sexy girl. And the name of the movie was called 10. Now, it is mild. I would say super mild compared to what it was then. Back then, at my age, it was like, oh, this is almost like porn. Oh, my God, I have to go see 10 with Bo Derek. Oh, my God, look at the curves. Look at the angles. Look at the lines. The hell with my camera. Where's my glasses? And I didn't even wear glasses then. Okay, so that was a hot movie, right, Mookie? So, yeah. Even someone like Randy says ZV-1 or ZV-1 Mark II. I would pick the ZV-1 Mark II. Now, he's asking, am I showing you the ZV-1 or the ZV-1 Mark II? I'm showing you, that's a good question. I was going to say it's the ZV-1 Mark I, but I never know on these things. So I'm questioning myself. This is the ZV-1 Mark II. This is the one to buy. All right. This is more advanced. It's got the new microphones, got the new menu system. It's upgraded everything. It's a joy to use. It's got a wider, whatchamacallit. The only thing is the on and off switch is hidden underneath here. So I'm going to turn it on so you could see that it's on, right? See how if I hold it out, I know it's kind of fuzzy, but there it goes. See how you could see me in there? It's about the right width. It's 18 millimeters, all right? And that's what makes this significantly different from the ZV-1, the original one. The ZV-1 Mark II is out here on my desk because I will grab this camera and use it because I can walk and talk. I like to do the Patreon videos, the almost daily videos is what I call them, where I just grab the camera and walk and talk. I don't even add a stick. I don't have a stick around. I just want to hold the camera like that. And if I don't like the stabilization because it's a Sony, zap it through on the aftermarket software, the Catalyst Browse, or its free competitor, which is called, God, now I can't remember. It's one of those senior moments. Come on. Gyro Flow. okay? And the gyro flow fixes every complaint that I have about Catalyst Browse. I can't think of any complaint for gyro flow. The price is too high. It's free. Can you afford free? So that's one of the advantages of the ZV-1 Mark II, okay? Is you didn't like the stabilization? Run it through gyroflow. It's gonna take you about the same amount of time of your clip. So if you've got a 3-minute clip, it's gonna take about 3 minutes, 3 minutes and 25 seconds, and it'll come out stabilized. Then just keep going. And that's another thing with the gyroflow software, and that is, what if you've got 10 or 12 clips? What if you took, oh, look at that dog. Oh, look at that bird. Look at those clouds. Look at Randy. Look at Sly. Look at Jim. And each one of these things is a separate clip. Well, with the one that comes from Sony, the free software, if I needed to stabilize all of those clips, I have to do them one at a time. And when I do them one at a time, it automatically lowers my quality to a very low quality. The software, not the camera, okay? Now, the gyroflow, I could put them all in and it'll eat one after the other. It's like eating a bowl of cereal. Your spoon just keeps going. It just keeps spooning up the next one, spooning up the next one, spooning up the next one, okay? You like those frosted mini wheats? I love that cereal. All right, anyway, back to this. It also will keep your quality level. So what if I decide to shoot in 422 and I want to shoot a 10-bit? Because maybe I'm anal and I want the better stuff. Okay, well, the free Sony software clobbers you, takes that right out of the picture. You cannot have the high quality one, okay? But the free version that competes with the free version of Sony, they're such high price, will actually output H.264, H.265, ProRes, all the way up to the highest ProRes, and you'd lose nothing. So it's better than a carbon copy. It is a perfect copy. So we are in the segment of the show where we're saying hi to Jim, hi to Woody, hi to Bo. I already did that. Randy was asking me, is that the ZV-1 or the ZV-1 Mark II? And thank you, because of you, Randy, I answered. This is ZV-1 Mark II. Shane is here from Australia, geeky, nerdy techie. And he is on a roll too. Randy makes a lot of videos. Shane, the owner of Geeky Nerdy Techie, makes a lot of videos. So we've got a lot of great people here. So Mookie is saying hello to Shane. Shane's in Australia, by the way. Oh, he was in, oh, wait a minute. Hawaii. I think he's back. I'll get corrected in a minute. Somebody will correct me, probably Shane. So Shane is saying hi back to Mookie. Randy says unlock the camera, the Z6, and rotate, then lock the camera again. Okay. I can't remember what I was talking about that time, but the overhead camera is doing good, Randy. I don't know what the problem was. Now, what I can do is I can actually go to my wand and I can zoom this out a little bit so it's a little bit wider like that. Okay. So now when it's a little bit wider, when I show you this, let's bring it up. And if I want to go to the right, I move to the right, come back, I come back. Okay. And this is the Canon R10. So the overhead cameras are really, really very handy. So that is the Z6, the original Mark I that's up on the top. Okay. So, and it's got a Viltrox 85mm lens, and that's still zoomed a little bit. Let's unzoom it completely. All right. So if I unzoom it completely, I go off the edge, and that, you're seeing the concrete floor down there. So, and plus it's a little bit too wide, and I'm not going to go and remount the camera over a little bit. So what I do is I'll zoom it up to the edge, and now all I have to do is put the camera in my hand. The Nikon Z6 focuses, and that's thank you to Roy in Australia. Okay. And we're doing good. Like Sly would say, we are winner chicken dinnering here. Okay. All right, so let me put this down. Let's get back to the important people in here, and that's kind of you. You guys are the important people. Does the Sony use the E mount? All the Sonys that I have come across that are the ZVs and the A7s are all E mounts. The older ones will use a different mount, but I don't know anybody that is actually using that mount because they've kind of like fizzled out with it. So yes, to answer your question directly, the Sony is E mount, and you can even buy a adapter to bring your Canon lenses over to the Sony that you're looking at right now. So if I put the adapter on that camera, Eleanor as I call her, I can use all my 50mm 1.2 Canon lens. I can use all my EF lenses, not my RF, but my EF, not the RF, okay? I don't want to just slide that in as if it doesn't exist. You can't use the RF if you buy the adapter. You can use all your older EFs, like the lenses that Sly has would probably be able to go over here on Eleanor because it takes EF and EFS. M mount, I'm not so sure about. I'd have to look that up. And probably Sly can answer that right quick because she would know, okay? Because that's what she's got. She's got the M6, which is an M mount camera. Okay, so Randy's telling me that my mic was on. Woody, loving my new Nikon D500. When did you get a 500? Actually, there's an echo in the room. Woody's asking Randy, when? Why? Why'd you buy a D500? So this should be an interesting answer. So Mookie is saying the D700 is the one to get. That's a full frame, and it's a lower megapixel. I did actually own one of those, and it's really, really a fine camera. Not even talking about the image quality. The camera is it's a work of art in itself. It's a fantastic camera. So D700, so Randy's going Woody, Mallory, and the DF. I wanted to see what all of the fuss was about. Did 2 videos about it with your name in the title. There we go. All right, so Randy apparently has picked up a D500 and a DF. That is the older technology cameras, because there's more than one. One is the D500. The D500 would be their flagship crop sensor, and the D700 would be their full frame camera, and a DF would be their full frame camera but with no video abilities, okay? So all of those cameras have kind of fizzled out except for a very narrow marketplace. And what Nikon is doing is taking the ability of those cameras and expanding on them. So you take the DF that, wait, let's bring Randy back up. Oh, if you want to see those videos, you go to Randall Brander. See in red where it says Randall Brander? You go and find that channel, and you could see his videos that he's got on the D500. You could see the videos that he's got on the DF, okay? Probably he's one of the very few people that are actually doing videos on those cameras. I had the D500 here and used it. It's an actually wonderful little camera. It still works great, and since Woody owns one and he uses it for his wildlife, basically birding, it serves him terrific. So they did that. They took the D500 and they came out with the Z50 Mark II, and they have sucked up a lot of the D500 things and put it in the Z50 Mark II. Now, Woody will have to do a comparison between the two, or Randy maybe has done that or will do that, because I know Randy has the Z50 Mark II. Okay, so I think that maybe Randy and Woody should have a conversation and find out what item specifically is not on the not on the Z50 Mark II, that Woody's been looking for. Okay. So Scotty is here. He said he just got here. We already started over twice. So we're going to keep rolling. So Randy says, Scotty, better late than never. What's for dinner? Yeah, Scotty's the one that brings the food in. Okay. Woody says, Randy, when do I get a check for that? A check? Okay, I'm missing some of the jokes. I guess... Oh, did Woody send his D500 to Randy? Oh, this is getting deeper now. I'm getting confused. All right, so Scotty says it's only 19 days till Christmas. Woo! You know what I did? I got my mixer out today. I'm going to make me some Christmas cookies and see if maybe I should put some up for sale. It'll have to be like around December 15th because I got to put all that mixing stuff away. I got to bring a big mixer and get all that stuff and make them. And then they got to be shipped too. So Randy says, Woody, only check is 2 videos from my channel, buddy. Oh, tonight, Scotty says we're going to Taco Bell. Taco Bell's pretty good. I like the one that's got like 2 and there's cheese in the middle and there's cheese on the top. It's almost like a pizza, but it's not the pizza one. I don't know what they call it. There's a name for it. Okay, so Woody says, I will check them out. Woody, keep your eye on. If Randy's got those, he's gonna zip out videos faster than Carter has liver pills. Okay. So Scotty's saying it's Christmas. That's in 19 days. Okay. Scotty went quick trip to get me 1 foot Italian sub, which is cheaper than Subway. Went to Quick Trip. Oh, that must be a place, right, Scott? Okay, and it's cheaper than Subway. If the sandwich is good, great. So Woody's telling Randy, I don't care for Subway anymore. You know, it's been really a long time. Our Publix, I don't know if Publix is in your area, okay? It's regional. I would say it's the southeastern United States. I know they're in Florida. I know they're in Georgia. And I don't know how far up they go past that. I think they started being in Virginia. Anyway, they make a mean sub. Woo! Right in front of you. And it is excellent. So Scotty's saying that sounds delicious. Me too, Woody. And Randy's saying, Woody, that's why I went to Quick Time. See, that's a store we don't have here. Homemade sandwich shops are hometown sandwich shops are so much better. I get the meat at Publix from the deli, and I make a sandwich. I've had somebody say, I watched you make a sandwich, Peter. I made it exactly the way you make the sandwich, and it doesn't taste the same. All right, now, besides all the jokes, okay, what are you thinking when they tell me that? There's something that they're doing that is not exactly the same. And my bet would be they watched what I put on the sandwich. So one of my favorite sandwiches is a ham sandwich, ham and cheese sandwich, okay? So 2 pieces of bread. All right, now this is what I put on the sandwich. And then I'm going to say something at the end. I put bread, mayonnaise, mustard on both pieces of bread, mayonnaise on both pieces of bread, okay? Then I put ham, but I don't lay it flat. Like just slap it on there. No. I crumble it up. Not quite roll it up. I fluff it up, okay? And I put maybe 3 or 4 slices of the ham. I put a layer of American cheese, and I don't use the kind of cheese where you have to unwrap each individual one. That's a cheese food. It's not cheese. It's fake. I get boar's head at the deli, at the grocery store, at Publix. And ingredients, you look at it, 4 ingredients. Milk, I don't know what else, okay? And they make cheese out of it. And you can really tell the difference. It's really amazing. So I put the cheese on there. I also will take and put a spoon of strawberry preserves or apricot preserves, and I mix it in with the mustard and the mayo on the 1 slice of bread. This is where I think the difference is. I think they plop it on, they put it together, and there's a reaction that happens when you will mix the jelly, the mustard, and the mayo with your spoon on the sandwich bread, okay? The sum of it is greater than the parts. You know, it's like a cake. If I hand you the flour and the chocolate bar and the milk and the eggs, that's fine. But it's not a cake. So I'm thinking this person did not realize that I'm actually making a slurry with those three parts. Otherwise, you're going to taste jelly or you're going to taste mustard, and you don't want to taste that in a ham sandwich. You just want the sauce. So I'm thinking they didn't make the sauce, but I'm not going to tell them. They just think that I'm a magician in terms of making a sandwich. I'll bet Peter could put together an amazing sandwich. Yeah. I also love the Reuben. Yep. I ate one Thanksgiving dinner and was full for 2 days, says Randy, because I felt sleepy and woke up not knowing what day it was. I do know it's Friday. Hey, are we in December? Scotty says, next week is Friday the 13th. That's my blessed day. I was born on the 13th. So when people start joking around, oh, it's the 13th. It's Friday the 13th. I'm so scared. I'm so blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I am blessed. Who sings that? Okay, Randy. Reuben and BLT or egg and bacon and cheese sandwich are great. Just add a lot of ketchup. Well, in place of the ketchup, I make my slurry. Okay, and it makes it taste really, really good. So Scotty is asking a question. Would it be possible for you, Peter, to do a Logic Pro 101? I just acquired it recently and I haven't run it yet. Bah! You're in for a fun time. You're going to have to look up on YouTube when you want to do. Start by, how do I start with this thing? It is quite a complicated program. It will work simply, but knowing your level of music and expertise, you're going to want to dig in. You're going to go like, where's this? Where is that? Where is this? Oh, okay. Oh, I mean Final Cut Pro. That's very different because I have Logic Pro and I have Final Cut Pro. So yeah, I could do that one myself. I wouldn't wade into Logic Pro. Watching in 2160 tonight. Wow, iPad 10th generation. And I broadcast in 4K. And I take the time the cameras are set to 422, 10-bit. And I use high quality. And because I have 1,000 up, 1,000 down internet from AT&T, this should look fairly good on your 10th generation iPad, honestly. It should look better than good. Randy says the Sony ZV E10 Mark II also has the SD card on the slot on the side, which is great. So this one's got it in the battery compartment. Here is what Randy is saying. Peter, why don't you use your overhead camera? It's up there. Well, if it's still working, it's fine with me. Okay, I need to go to the right, so I go to the right. Okay, so the card slot is here on the E10 Mark I. Okay, so if I close this and I look at the side here, there's a door. Okay, now all that's here is actually the HDMI port and the USB port. Now on the E10 Mark II, if you do the same thing and you open it up, surprise, the SD card goes in here. So that's another reason to take the card out of here and put it on the side. And because they gave extra room here, I'm guessing they made the grip a little bit bigger on the Mark II. This is a Mark I. Instead of using the smaller battery, which is this one, okay, if I can get it out, it uses the bigger battery from Eleanor, okay, the FZ100. And that's another positive for the E10 Mark II. So good catch on that one, Randy. So Travis Varga Films, the ZV-E1 is the GOAT. Okay, that is this camera, and I'm guessing Travis likes this camera. There we go. I'm on Eleanor. So E1's beginning of the spelling of the word Eleanor, which I sang, you got a thing about you. I just can't live without you. I really want you, Eleanor, near me. Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum, do-wah. Okay, anyway. So I named it Eleanor. So Travis likes Eleanor. I'm with you, buddy. It's very hard to beat this picture. You go like, Peter, why would you buy a 12 megapixel camera? This is the same sensor that's in the A7S Mark III and in the FX3. And this, they have the same sensors. So one is over 4,000, one is over 3,000, and this is 2,000. Hello? And I love this picture. Look at the reds. Look at how rich the reds are. Look at how rich the face looks. If I stop playing with my cheeks, I could talk to you. Okay? Look how rich the blue looks. The picture here is so good, sometimes I have to lower the saturation. So there's something about this camera that gives you an amazingly remarkable picture. Okay? So Mookie says, for new users, it can be difficult to decide on what brand and then decide on what model to pick. This discussion by Peter can help a lot. Thank you, Mookie. It really comes down to, you got to stop shopping with eye candy, okay, and start shopping with the idea of what features is really important to me. Because eye candy is basically how you shop for cars. We don't look to see what kind of bolts is in the motor or what kind of a supercharger. Is it an Eaton supercharger or turbocharger? It's just supercharged. I like that. I'm going to buy it. Okay, that's shopping like eye candy. And we shop like that with cameras too. No, 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 no. I think stabilization is very important. Randy doesn't. Okay? Two different things appeal to two different people. It's going to push me stronger in one direction, and it's going to push Randy stronger in another. Now, Randy might still wind up at the same Sony that I wound up at, okay? But it isn't because I'm bent on the fact that the gyro data is being recorded here, and it's not being recorded here. And now I'm saying, Canon, get off your ASS and put the gyro data in here. Nikon, same to you, buddy. Okay? Put the gyro data in there. Then if I choose of my own free will to put it through the gyro software, I can. I cannot do that with the Canon. I cannot do that with the Nikon. I can do that with every Sony I got going on in here, from big to medium to the baby. It's a free choice. I think that's important, and that's why I'm sounding off. The ZV-1 Mark II is better. Yeah, it is better. Definitely better than the ZV-1 Mark I. Here's Bokeh Bushido. So, do you know who Bokeh Bushido is? What's up, everybody? Hey, Peter. Really appreciate these camera insights. Okay, now this should be interesting to you. So, get your catchers on. Put your ears on, okay? This is Carlos. Carlos, the Daily Man. He has started a new channel, which most, not every single person in here, but most people have channels. Well, Carlos just started a new channel, and the name of the channel, you could see it in red, is Bokeh Bushido. Bushido. Almost sounds like I'm cussing, but I'm not, okay? So what is his channel about? Well, first of all, I think everybody should support each other here. I'm a big believer in that, okay? need to go over, get yourself a piece of paper and a pencil, and write down bokeh, B-O-K-E-H, space, Bushido, B-U-S-H, Bushido. Okay? Look it up and subscribe. Let's launch him. He's one of us. It's Carlos. Your buddy Carlos. He's actually been on the show with me side by side, 2 different screens. Okay? So what he talks about is the camera. It is centered on cameras this time, not centered on psychology. But it brings psychology in how does your camera affect you mentally, how what you do with it affects you mentally, how do you interact with your camera, do you take your camera to bed with you like I do, do you love your camera deeply, do you dislike your camera and you're always looking to buy a new one, do you have that syndrome where you've just got to buy the newest thing on the market? So he's not bringing in camera after camera after camera after camera after camera after camera and showing you the difference, okay? He's taking the one camera that you got right now, and let's see how we can apply ourselves mentally and what the camera will do for us and with us mentally. It's like a therapy. For me, it's like a therapy to do this. I don't get out very often, so I get to see Randy, Carlos, Mookie. Oh, Sammy's up next. Okay, Sammy, my buddy Sammy. I'm surprised he's still awake. Okay, hi Sammy, I love you, buddy. Okay, and so it's actually very interesting. So you might not like the Daily Man because you don't want to hear all about psychology. Okay, of course, go there. It's a channel he's been running. But you want to hear about the camera that you've got. How do you get yourself closer with your camera? How do you feel good about going out, and how do you make yourself feel good about going out and taking pictures, real pictures, instead of just mentally masturbating with your camera in your head? Okay? It's like that's the only sexual toy you got on the camera porn field. Okay? I'm just making it interesting, guys. Don't get bent out of shape. These are real words, and they exist. We're just afraid to say them because most people say them in a dirty way. They're not dirty. They just describe something. So, Bokeh Bushido is Carlos's new channel. Now, we really need to get behind him, okay? So we need to go there and actually subscribe. So I don't know what his subscription level is right now, but somebody mark it. Randy, go find out what it is. And I want to see us just take him and just raise up all the subscriptions that he's got going on. Okay? So Mookie is saying hi to Sammy. Philip is here. How you doing, Montreal? What's the weather like up there? The weather outside is frightful. The fire is so delightful. Yasuti kanete simera. I'm singing Greek, I'm singing Greek, I'm singing Greek. So how you doing, Phil? Good to see you, buddy. Stay tuned because after we get done with the hellos, I'm going to show you what God taught me this week. Something, you know, so how God will just take a 2x4 and just smack you up the side of the head. And it's usually because you started it, you asked the question, and you forget about the question, and then, you know, a lackadaisical way, God will answer your question, but he'll do it in a way that catches you off guard, and that's what happened to me this week. So Mookie says, Weebles should be the only things that wobble. That's true, Mookie. Good one, buddy. Put that on a bumper sticker. Jojo was a man, we thought he was a woman. Da 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 da. That's, what group is that? The Monkees? No. Is it ABBA? No. Is it Neil Diamond? No. Is it the Four Lads from England? How you doing, Jojo? He's saying hi to me. Love you. Thank you for being here. I love every one of you guys that are here. Thank you for being here. Gregory is here. Hello. Thank you. That was very helpful. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate that. It gives me some encouragement that all my yapping doesn't go to waste. Hey, you guys, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, do it. I mean, I'm not growing. 450 subscribers for the last 10 years. Can we get 451? So, anyway, how you doing, Greg? Thank you for being here. Love you. Thank you for saying hi. Thank you for not being a chicken, for coming on. You guys that are just lurking, seriously, stop in and say hi. I can make fun of you. It'd be fun. It'd be fun for me to make fun of you. So Carlos is saying, yes, I want some of those cookies. I'm going to make some this weekend, and I'm going to eat one, and I'm going to think of you the whole time through. That's what I'm going to do, Carlos. Woody says, I went to Publix today. I guess they got them in Virginia because that's where Woody is. So that's great. Okay. Carlos says, there's 17 watching, and there's only 1 thumbs up. Oh, my God. Don't you guys love me anymore? Am I supposed to feel rejected? Give me a thumbs up. It's free. Doesn't even cost anything, especially this weekend. But you do have to take your mouse and your finger. You've got to finger your mouse. It's not as dirty as it sounds, okay? Move your mouse over to where that thumb is facing up, up, up to the sky, and click it. Thank you for reminding us, Carlos. I appreciate that. So, Philip, in Montreal smoked meat sandwich is the best. When you come to Montreal, you should try this classic sandwich, and it's only available in Montreal. Okay. So, Philip says, I'm Sagittarius too. November 27th was your birthday. Why didn't you tell me? I could sing happy birthday to you. I'll do it anyway. So, I'm a week late. Who the heck cares? Happy birthday to Philip. Happy birthday to Philip. Happy birthday to Philip, November 27. Happy birthday to you. Hey, Philip, how old are you now? How old are you now? How old are you, Philip? How old are you now? Yasu ketapit yasu. That means bless you and your children. So he was born on November 27th. There's Alex. Oh, I spent some time on the phone with Alex. He's putting Christmas lights on the outside of his car, LEDs, and he's powering them with an inverter. Alex is where? Alex is in Jersey. He's in New Jersey. So he's decorating the outside of his car. So when you see a car that's got Christmas lights taped all over it, that's Alex, especially if you're driving in New Jersey. That's funny. So Gregory says, I like the Italian or ultimate sub from Publix. Right? They make a really good sub. Publix makes some killer subs. It's a secret. Don't tell anybody, Gregory. Shh, quiet. It's a secret. The lines are already plenty long there. So nobody go to Publix for subs. They're not the best. They're fantastic. They're out of this world. So Randy says, the ZV-1 Mark II is better than the original ZV-1. Is what I meant. I knew that. It's not better than the ZV-E1 full-frame camera. Nope, it's not. But they each have their place, right, Randy? Yes, they do. Okay, Alex says, how are your smoothies? You need to start making more smoothies on Peter's Kitchen. You know, I was going to record myself making a smoothie because I've added a heaping teaspoon because I'm aiming for 1 tablespoon. So if I start with a tablespoon, by the time I get a tablespoon of almond butter out of the jar, it's like 2 tablespoons. Okay? So I start with a teaspoon, and it's a heaping teaspoon, and I add that to my smoothie now, and what a difference. What a difference a day makes. Okay? So if you're making smoothies and you can get your hands on almond butter, I use that over peanut butter because peanut butter, the swelling of the joints. It's inflammatory, as they call it. See my hand waving? Well, this joint here is all bones, and if it gets inflamed, it becomes painful. Same thing with the fingers. Okay, so almond butter is not inflammatory, but a lot of people don't like the way almond butter tastes, and the reason for that is they do a real shitty job making it. Okay, so if you want an almond butter that competes with peanut butter in taste, is still 80% healthy, that would be called Barney butter. Barney, like, hey, boo-boo, Flintstones, Barney. Barney butter. And the one that I get is without sugar and that kind of stuff. But the regular Barney butter, which is a blue jar, comes crunchy and it comes regular. It's a mom that's got children that is very allergic to peanuts, but her children feel so left out because everybody else gets peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and her children can't have them. So she, mother of inventions, came up in a peanut-free factory, made Barney butter. And for the sugar, she uses coconut palm oil, which is from the correct side of the coconut. It's a much healthier form of sugar, but it does have carbs. It's got 7 carbs in a spoon, or 8 carbs. A tablespoon. That's why I start with a teaspoon, so by the time I'm finished, Peter's teaspoon is a hell of a teaspoon, okay? So when I scoop-de-doop-de-doop, okay, it is quite a teaspoon, probably a tablespoon. Okay, so Alex said to be recording very cold Avgeek. Very cold. That's a cool name. I've got a Canon XSI. Boy, you are out there. Super lens for plane spotting. What lens should I get? They make Canon makes 100 to 300 consumer level lens. And if it fits on that camera, you better find out what the mount is. So the XSI, I believe, is an EF mount. That lens is right up your alley. You could probably find that used. Okay, you can find a really good deal on it. Look it up on. Let's do it together. Heck, I went through the trouble of making this, and then I only used it for a few minutes. Okay, so if I go to the desktop, okay, and I go up here, and I put in I'm not going to put the EF or EFS. I don't remember which one it is. I'm going to put Canon 100 to 300. Are you going to type? It's not typing. I bet the battery died. It would help if I turn this on. Let's see if I'm going to get a connection. Nope, it isn't connecting. All right, let me go over to the desk and I'll type it in so that we can see. I'm trying to get a window out of the way. There it is. Okay. All right, so I want the 100 to 300. So let me go over to the keyboard and I'll be right back. But you can still hear me, okay? My little circle, the little bubble is going to be empty in the bottom, but I'll actually okay, so I'm going to type in here so you can see 100 to 300 millimeter Canon. Okay, now I can use the mouse and we'll navigate, and that's not the one that you're looking at right now. Okay, here we go. All right. Now let's scroll down a little bit. Of course, this thing is not going to be cooperative. That's not the one I want. Well, I'm not able to find it for you right now, but I'm not trying to lead you over to a $10,000 lens. They do make a very low price one. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, because I'm live and I'm on the air, that's what I'm doing wrong. It just wants to make me look like an idiot. Okay? Now, I don't mean, oh, that's the lens cover. Let's see if I go to the bottom. How about if I put in here, how about if I put just Canon zoom lens? Because they do make a really nice lens. Now, I'm walking away from the mic, so that's why you hear me walking away a little bit. So this time I'm going to put in Canon zoom lens. Oh, it's not a 100 to 300, it's a 75 to 300. That's the one right there. 199, you can get them as low as 116. It would help if I come back over to the microphone so you could hear me. Plus, I'll be back in the circle. I have owned this lens right here. Okay, and it is the Mark III if you notice. All right, so if we go in here, you can see it's 4.5 stars and it's got 682 reviews. So people like the lens. That's the point. You can get it used from $116. If you're going to buy it, click my B&H link, even if it's to a camera or something, because that'll put some commission money into my YouTube channel. All right. So you got it used. You've got 1, 2, 3 used ones. So if I go into the lowest price one right here, all right, it's 8 plus moderate wear. Shows moderate wear, scuffing, or marks. Usually this is pretty good, okay? It'll have scratches. This lens is not very new, okay, onto the marketplace. All right, now if you want it with less scratching and stuff, you go to the $134 one, okay? This one is in 9 condition, and the one that's $148, so that's $10 more almost, is little to no signs of wear, okay? Or you go over and you could buy it brand new for $200. And this is an EF mount, which means it will go on your EFS, the XI camera that you have. Sounds like a deal? Good. That's what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be a good deal. So I have this keyboard, but when I'm typing, it's on. I bet the battery died on this. So when we finish with the show tonight, I'm going to plug it in and see if that will take care of it. Because I like to be able to sit here and type something real quick. Okay? So, cold dude, I hope that helps you a little bit. That lens is just a lot of fun. 75 to 300, and you're on a 1.6, so the 300 will be at 150. It'll be a 450, 460 millimeters, and that's, you know, going to give you a lot of fun. So Phil says, what do you think about the new Sony A7 IV that's coming out in March? They're always stepping it ahead. I haven't seen what the specs are on that one, so I will keep an eye on that, and I'll probably make a video on that or something. Has it been announced, or are we still in the rumor stage? So that's what I have to find out. So is the video skipping, or is it my internet? Close my whole window and reopen it again in a new YouTube video, YouTube window, and that fixes 90% of the stuff for me. If it's me that's doing it, there's nothing I can do. I'm live, I'm on the air, I can't reboot the computer, there's nothing I can do. So that is, it is what it is. But most of the time, it'll clear up, Mookie, if you just reopen the YouTube window. Okay, just do a click on his pic and go to the channel. So that's how you get to the whatchamacallits, the links to all these places. Okay, the reason I bring it up is that's the only way this channel makes money. Okay, and I don't mean to sound greedy, but you're on YouTube, and the money is nice. It allows me to buy something, honestly. So to put a few, dollars in the commissions into the channel, the only way to do that is if you click on B&H, you go over to what you want to buy, like the lens. So if Cold wants to buy that lens, click on the R10 down below in the description. It'll take you to this camera. Now, you don't want to buy this camera, obvious. All right, then use the search. Do 75 to 100, 75-300 millimeters. Okay, Canon, put those words in. 75-300 space Canon, and you'll come to that lens. And you click on it, and if you buy it right then, don't click on anybody else, I will get the commission. Same thing for Adorama. You don't have to buy it from B&H. I know there's some people that don't like B&H. Well, in the description, I got links for B&H, even Walmart and Best Buy and Amazon and Adorama. Adorama, by the way, is trying to get me to push them stronger, so they have upped the commission to 8%. So if somebody buys something for $100, I get $8 into my channel that I can buy something at Adorama. That's why I ask for you to do that. It's not because I'm greedy and I'm saving up for a Rolls Royce. I want to get blessed. So I have to ask. Okay, so Randy says, this is the channel for Carlos at Bokeh Bushido. That's the link to get to his channel. Okay, so if you click on that, copy and paste this, and go there and subscribe to the man. He's one of our family. He's given me money. He has blessed me. Okay, so he's a good member of the family. He gets in there. When we tried to buy Thanksgiving dinner for somebody, Carlos was right there. So what we do is support each other here. In case you didn't know that, this is not a place for egos. We don't check them. We don't use them. We check them in at the door. Okay, we love each other and we support each other to the best that we can. And if that includes subscribing to someone's channel, do it. It doesn't cost you any money to do it. So I'm asking you to do it. Do it for Carlos. So we have 14 thumbs up. Thank you guys that have given me thumbs up. I appreciate it. So you know what the thumbs up does? This is live, so they're not promoting this video. So the thumbs up is kind of like a pat on the back for me. It says, like, Peter, we watching you? We like what you're doing. Here's a thumbs up. Okay. Now, next week, when the rewind is running, it will look at the thumbs up and say, oh, he had some activity there. So, therefore, let's promote his video. But let's put it this way. After I'm done with the show, this is basically a podcast. I don't move around that much. Now, when I did show you some stuff on B&H, that's something you might have to look at, okay? But the rest of the time, you could be driving down the street and just listen to me talk. It's like a podcast. And that's why you just get comfortable, get yourself some hot chocolate, and listen. Okay, that was Randy. MX Vert. How you doing, buddy? I don't remember your name. Or am I forgetting in my old age? Okay. What's the best lens for the ZV-E10? 2 lenses. One is 3 lenses. One is an either or, and the other one is a definite. Okay. So the either or is if you are going to create content where you're walking and talking, show and tell. Okay. You want a lens that you can get up close. So you would want a 10 to 18. Sony makes a 10 to 18 for the Sony E10. Okay? Now, if you want a little bit better lens, I'm spending your money for you. Aren't I a nice guy? Okay. Sony makes a Sony brand 11 millimeter lens. And, you know, if I remember, I need to put links to all these after the show is over. They make an 11 millimeter lens, and that's the one I use. Because at 11 millimeters and you're walking around, I don't do very much zooming. But that Sigma is still a sweet spot. Randy has it. I have it. Other people have it. It just sits in the sweet spot. So why did I mention the 11 millimeter? All right, the 10 to 18 zoom lens from Sigma, which is this lens right here, and this is sitting on my Panasonic camera. So this is the L mount. So this is the same lens, 10 millimeters to 18, very small, very light, and that's what you want. You want to keep the camera small and light. It's a 2.8. The Sony one that's 11 millimeter is just a 1 millimeter tighter, is an f1.8. It lets in a whole lot of more light, okay? And it costs a little bit more. They're still $500-600, okay? So that would be your walkie-talking. Walk it, talk to the camera lens, okay? The other lens is for when you go out and you go like, I want to shoot that bird. I want to shoot that person falling down. I want to shoot that waterfall. I want to shoot that tree. I want to shoot that sunset. I want to get that plane. Well, the 16 millimeter to 50 millimeter zoom lens, electronic zoom lens, when you buy the camera, it's $100 more. So these are on sale for $598. So for $698, you get the 16 to 50 millimeter. Now, if you already own the camera, you got to go find one of these for sale used, and it's higher than $100, probably $150. So again, look at B&H, and those two lenses will cover most of your photography. After that point, MX, okay, are you vertical? Are you laying down? That's horizontal. Are you standing up? That's vertical, okay? So if you want to do unique stuff, let's say you want to get into portraits, you would want to probably get a 50 millimeter 1.8 or 1.4 because you want that bokeh, that background blur, so you can do portraits. Then you start buying specialty lenses. But the very first lens should be the 16 to 50 electronic zoom. It also has stabilization built in addition to your camera body, the E10. They work together. So that, it's not a bad kit lens. It's a good kit lens. Alrighty. Then after that, you got your wide angle so that you can walk and talk to the camera. How you doing today? Haven't seen you in a week. That kind of stuff, okay? But if you're going to sit in your kitchen, your living room, your bedroom, you're going to put this on a tripod, and you're going to talk to the camera, the 16 to 50 is one of the best buys going. There's lots of great lenses. So that's my answer to you. It would either be the Sigma 10 to 18 or the Sony 11 millimeters. And the 11 millimeter one gives you more light. The 10 to 18 is lower priced and gives you a little bit of zoom. Okay? So Randy is saying the 11 millimeter. He's got that one. Okay. So Philip, he's answering, how old are you now? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I thought I was doing the whole show with the reverb on. Oh my God. It'd sound like I'm in a chamber tonight. But thank God I didn't turn it on or I turned it off. It's too long ago. I'm 65 years old now. Philip is 65 years old. So Mbert is asking Randy a question, and Randy is answering him. The Sigma 16 1.4 10 18. Be nice if I put it up so you know what I'm reading. There we go. So that is for MXvert. He's an expert. Funny's here. I used to have a pizza and hoagie, not sub shop. Top 5 in the country. I love people that are in the food business. If I was going to go in the food business, I would probably open a pizza shop, and I'd call it St. Peter's Pizza. Pizza that's just heavenly. You don't like it, huh? And I would have pizza, Well, you guys got me started. I would have pizza. I'd have my mother's barbecue chicken and my mother's barbecue baby back ribs. And it would probably be just takeout. I'm not going to wait on people. Too much walking. Top 5 in the country. I bet it was good. So, Bouquet Bushido Carlos is saying thank you to Randy and everybody. MX Vert is saying thank you to Randy. Make sure, MX Vert, you go to Randall Brander's channel. Where is it? See the words in red here, MX Vert? Okay. See, Randall Brander? You can go to his channel. He's got, I think, he's bordering on 2,700 videos. I think I got 200. Okay. So he's got something for everybody over there. Go see him. So, Funny says, I just got a 2x converter and 2 Nikon lenses for my S5 Mark II X. That's fantastic. These converters are getting better and better and better. Gregory says, Peter, have you ever tried monk fruit? I love monk fruit. And here's the big deal with monk fruit. The liquid version is far superior to the powdered version. So I get monk fruit in a bottle. Okay, and here, let me go get it. I'll be right back. So what can I put here for you to watch while I go? If I put this one on, that's not interesting. Oh, there we go. You could see the lens. All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to run to the kitchen and get my monk fruit because I think a lot of you guys need to look into this. All right. So hold on. No, I'm not going to pee, all right? I'm just going to get the monk fruit. I'll be right back. Oh, the old man is getting up, and I'm heading to the kitchen. I'm still going. Coming back. Did you miss me? If it wasn't for the fact that I have an overhead camera, this wouldn't be so interesting. All right, so I'm back. I'm back in the driver's chair. All right, so this is a bottle of liquid monk fruit. Now, we can do better, right? We have an overhead camera. This is monk fruit. It's in the liquid form. I need to go to the right. I need to make it flatter. Oh, you know what? I can zoom this in. I got the power. What's that song? I got the power. Okay. So let's zoom this all the way in. There we go. So the brand is now monk fruit. Now, this is monk fruit only. All right? Because if you go shopping for this stuff, what happens is you get monk fruit mixed with all kinds of crap. What you want is 100% monk fruit. And I was using the powder, and I was doing very well with it. Okay? However, somebody suggested that I try the liquid version, and I'm figuring, why should I do that? And I tried it. I will never, ever go back. Only the liquid. I put it in anything and everything. Okay? 0 calories, keto friendly, and tastes and measures like sugar. You can get it at Costco. Oh, well, there. You can get the monk fruit at Costco. Now, they mix the monk fruit with something called erythritol. I always not say it properly. Erythritol is very good. Truvia is erythritol mixed with stevia. and it's in a granulated sugar form. The trouble with it is it's got, even at the lower levels, it's got that metal taste. I just don't like that. But I put up with it because I've lost 65 pounds on a carnivore diet. And then now I'm not carnivore, now I'm keto. Carna keto or something, whatever they call it. Ketovore. All right. So when I make my smoothies, I'll add, I've got one of those little things, 1/8 of a teaspoon or 1/4 of a teaspoon. Now, the thing with this is it's sweet. It's sweet. It's sweeter. You cross a line and it tastes terrible. So you don't start with a lot. You can't back off. So what you actually have to do is work your way up. That's why I bought the measuring little things where they're 1/8 of a spoon, 1/4 of a spoon, 1/2 a spoon. So in my smoothie, I use the 1/4 of the spoon. So it's a flip top cap, and it drips, and I'll just fill this little tiny thing, and I put it in my smoothie, and my smoothie tastes better than a milkshake that I got at McDonald's. Okay, so it's fabulous. Now where do I put this? So yes, I'm surprised somebody here knows about monk fruit. Congratulations. So the only thing that I want to say, the only gotcha is, if you really want to try monk fruit yourself, because of Gregory's suggestion, okay, then you really want monk fruit only, nothing else. If you wind up with the powder, get monk fruit only. You don't want it mixed with Splenda. You don't want it mixed with stevia. You do not want it mixed with erythritol, or you do. Okay, so let's say you decide, I do want to mix some monk fruit with erythritol. Okay, in that case, they got it available for you. But it's harder to find plain, pure monk fruit. And that's what I put in so many things. When I make coffee, I put in monk fruit. When I make the hot chocolate, I make monk fruit. I use monk fruit. If I make chocolate milk, which is water, heavy cream, cocoa powder, Hershey's dark chocolate cocoa powder, because it's basically not dark chocolate. It's a Dutch process, which is low acidity, and some monk fruit, and I make really good chocolate milk. People are drinking my chocolate milk, and I'm saying, no, don't drink my chocolate milk. Drink the chocolate milk you buy at Publix. Okay. Bop. Randy is EF Lens. He's answering something, so I guess you guys read that. Hey, I bought the new iPad, Generation 10, I know, case and some t-shirts from Amazon using your link. Yay, I'm going to have to go look and see if it got recorded. Thank you, Scotty. That's going to put some money into the channel from the commissions. Then I can go to Amazon and get something. Isn't that cool? It's only a way where you guys can bless me if you want to. So Randy says, when supporting, Peter uses links like B&H, helps him to show off a demo camera each month with a lens. Oh, that reminds me. I didn't tell you, Randy. I did put in a request for the S9. And I've got all the lenses that I need, so I didn't request a lens, but I did request a microphone. So let's see what happens. When they approve it, you'll be the first to know. Scotty says he uses B&H and Adorama. Never had a bad experience since 1978. Sometimes Adorama has some cool, unique items at irresistible prices. Get their store cards to save. There you go. So Scotty says, Medicare at 65, only 2 birthdays away. So let's see. 65 minus 2 would be, you're 63 years old. Oh, I did that all in my head. I didn't even need to use the calculator. Peter, do you know any good Mexican food recipes? I would like to learn how to make a Mexican gravy. I don't know what that is, but don't tell anybody. Like the stuff poured over a wet burrito, not to be confused with enchilada sauce. I'd have to look that up. on YouTube, honestly. Woody says, Scott, I took mine at 62, retired at 58 and a half. You took Medicare at 62? I think my Medicare was available at 62 also. I'm not sure. Woody says, Scott, no, I mean Social Security. I read your comment too fast. Okay. So both of us got in trouble. So he says, gotcha, Woody. Scotty says I retired. Woody says I retired at 58 and a half years old. Scotty says, way to go, Woody. Yes, that's good, 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 good. Here's Sly. Good evening, everybody. Sorry I fell asleep. Jet lag. Oh, you back in Oklahoma? I guess so. If jet lag, she wouldn't be flying back and forth in Las Vegas. So welcome home. I guess we will see you Thursday night. It was fun watching you on the road. And now she gets to play with her grandchild. Sly just loves her grandbaby. Oh, my God. That is one of the luckiest, most blessed grandbabies in the world. All right, so I've done the camera section, and I have done the I love you, everybody section, where I brought up you. Now I'm going to do the part I like to do, too, okay? It turns a lot of you guys off, but go away, go to sleep. It's almost midnight. Why are you still up? Go to sleep. Well, it is Friday night. All right, so there was some point in the last couple of weeks, you know, you get your highs and your lows in terms of your moods, okay? So this section is a little bit more Bible godly section, okay? And I don't push anything down anybody's throat, but I don't restrain myself from saying what I like to say. In other words, you're not restricted, but neither am I, okay? So the Bible says, and I'm listening to preachers. I found a new one that I really love. His name is Bobby Schuller. My favorite one is Joseph Prince. And I watch him heavily. It's like going to church. And I've watched Bobby Schuller now for, I think, like 5 weeks. And man, each week is better than the week before, okay? So anyway, they're preaching and telling me all this good stuff. And I'm getting depressed. Like, why doesn't God bless me here? Why doesn't God bless me there? Blah, 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 blah. Complaining, complaining, complaining. You do the same crap, so don't act so high and mighty, okay? So I was pondering, and I said, God, maybe you're just too busy. Maybe you're too busy, or maybe I'm not high enough on the totem pole. Now, I know better than this. But you know, when you feel sorry for yourself, you'll come up with some shit that's just amazing. It's like, why doesn't God have time for me? It feels like he has forgotten me. Seriously. You know? So I'm murmuring and acting like a baby. And what am I going to say? I did it. And so finally I came to the point where maybe God's too busy. There's some things I need, and in order to buy them, I need some money. So I'm asking the Lord, how do I do something to get some money? Okay? And then I might have a family squabble. And it's like, God, why do you let them do this? And then I might have a friend hammer on me. They don't mean to. Anyway, things that can get you down. So I came to the conclusion that God's too busy. Okay? He's got too many important things to do. There are children that are dying, children that are sick, children that are being abused, wives, husbands that are in an abusive relationship. There's people that are sick, and if God doesn't heal them, they're going to die. He's going to come in and fix my little argument. He's going to come in and fix my feelings because I feel like I've been hurt or slighted. So maybe the guy is busy up there. Do you ever think about that? And I said, how do you deal with so many people at once? I don't get it. You just cut yourself up in slices, or how does that work? I don't know. Do you have time for me? Can you just say hi? I need a hug today, God. I was doing this a few days back. So I forgot about that. I felt better. You go to sleep, you wake up the next day. Many times you feel better. Okay? So if you get depressed, go to bed, go to sleep. But when you wake up, you'll feel better. So I was making spaghetti for some of the complaining people here. All right. So I took the box of spaghetti. Let's see, which side is open on this box? Now, have you ever bought a box of spaghetti? If you haven't, this is not going to make a lot of sense. But this is what a box of spaghetti looks like. Now remember, this is God answering a question that I didn't really ask. Like, do I really expect God to come in and say, this is how I do it, Peter? Okay. I didn't really think that was going to happen. But guess what? He did. So I was making spaghetti. Now you open this box of spaghetti and it's very messy. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to make some boiling water. And you're going to pull out all these spaghettis. Should I show off a little bit and do my overhead cam? All these spaghettis that are in this box, okay? And so I'm looking at this spaghetti, and God talks to me in my head. And he says to me, get the damn box of spaghetti in the frame, Peter. No, he didn't say that. And I'm looking at all those. Now, what he said to me is each one of these pieces of spaghetti is a person. And one piece of spaghetti is a person's timeline. The heck with the overhead camera, okay? I want this to be good. So each piece of spaghetti, this is my timeline. And I'm in this box of spaghetti. And God said, I can jump into every single piece of spaghetti and go anywhere on your timeline, past, present, or future. So I start at one end, that's when I'm born, and my life ends at the other end, that's when I die or leave here to go to heaven. And I'm in this box of spaghetti. And God said, I can go into every single spaghetti. I can jump into every piece of spaghetti all at one time. I can be on Scotty's timeline. I can be on Carlos's timeline. I can be on Woody's timeline. I can be on Randy's timeline. And you get individualized, personalized attention from me, completely separate from every other piece of spaghetti or every other human being on the planet. And that's how I can give you 100% of my attention and still give everybody else the same amount of attention. Because basically, we're all a box of spaghetti. It made sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you, or you're just thinking like, okay, this guy's gone off the deep end. That's what God showed me, that each life is a timeline, and it's kind of like all of it in one. So all of existence is all the pieces of spaghettis, or all the people that ever existed and will exist. And he just goes down into everybody's timeline, one after the other, and can live on your timeline. He can go in my past and heal something from my past. He can go in my future and have me prepared for my future. He can give me 100% personalized attention at the same time where the next piece of spaghetti next to me in this box, or the next human being, is also getting personalized 100% attention. He's not dividing himself up. He's able to be everywhere at the same time. So he's able, like a box of spaghetti, deal with every human being, with every piece of spaghetti in this box, all at one time. And that satisfied me. And I know that I can actually get God's attention when I pray. Because this, that he's busy, is basically bullshit. He's not busy. He's in my piece of spaghetti. I'm a piece of spaghetti in the box. I'm a human being. Each piece of spaghetti represents a human being. And each piece of spaghetti has a beginning and an end. Okay? It's when you're born and when you die. And God is on my entire timeline. The entire time I get personalized attention. special just for me. And that's how I can satisfy myself that he's not too busy, that he will pay attention to me, that he will deal with me. And when he doesn't answer, it's not because he's busy being in another piece of spaghetti in this box. He's in my piece of spaghetti the whole time. He's in my life the whole time. That one piece of spaghetti is my life, okay? And I just think that God answered my question that I didn't even really ask. I was murmuring. I was complaining. Maybe God's too busy to answer my question. Maybe God's too busy to give me a hug when I'm down and I'm out and I'm feeling depressed. And my friends won't give me a hug. My family won't give me a hug. My parents are in heaven. So who else? There's nobody left here. Do we pray for each other that much? But God is on my timeline completely. And I get 100% of his attention. Just like if you open the end of this box of spaghetti and you see all the sticks of spaghetti in there, okay, I'm one of the people that exist on this planet. And God is able to go into my piece, go all the way back to when I was 2 years old, 10 years old, 17 years old. He was able to, when I got really hurt bad, to prepare me or to go in my future and fix it. That spaghetti is my timeline. So does any of that make any sense? Okay, it made a lot of sense to me, and it helped comfort me in the knowledge that God will actually pay attention to me. And even though I might desperately need a hug, I might desperately need an I love you, I might desperately need a little bit of extra attention, you do too. Don't act like you don't, okay? You might have a spouse, and that spouse gives it to you. You might have a child. That child gives it to you. You might have a friend or a sibling, and they give it to you. There are not a whole lot of people around. That's why Friday nights are kind of important to me. I get to interact with human beings that say they care. All of you say you care. I hear you. I read you where you say you care. So I'm just going with believing what you're saying, and it helps pick me up. But Scotty can't come over here and hug me, and neither can anybody else. Okay, I'm not picking on him. I'm giving you an example. But God can. And when I ask him to hug me and I don't hear nothing, and I pray for something and I hear nothing, okay, a delay in prayer does not mean a denial of my prayer. But because I'm human and I spiral downward instead of spiraling upward, it's just natural, okay, to spiral downward. Woe is me. Finally, you start saying, God, why won't you pay attention to me? Well, his answer was a box of spaghetti. Don't tell me God doesn't have a sense of humor, all right? Because that's pretty funny. I would have never thought there was an answer to my prayer in the refrigerator, in an open box of spaghetti, okay? But there it was. Now, it's my job where I could take it or leave it and go, that's baloney. No, I don't think it's baloney. I like that answer. It means God could pay attention to me. And it means the same thing for you too. So if you're feeling down in the dumps and your woe is me, okay, then God is on your timeline, on your one piece of spaghetti. Somewhere on your timeline, you're there. God is on your entire timeline, and he's on every person's timeline, just like he can open the box of people, pull them out, and he can deal with each one of these people individually. Which camera am I on? Okay, so this is the spaghetti. And then some of us die. And our timeline's finished. And then the end of the world. There's no more people that are on the human timeline. We go on the eternal timeline. All right, guys, I got to do my part in this show, which is I like to talk about God, which makes me feel good. You don't like it? You got a mouse. Use it. That goes for every other YouTuber, too. All right, guys. I believe that we are at the end of this show. So, Scotty is saying, can you get commissionable links? I have to see if they got affiliates over there. That's pretty cool. I'll check it out. Sly, we got to plan our Vegas meetup. Evelyn is here. Nice show. Have a great night now. See you next Friday. And I love the Lord. Good for you, Evelyn. You just gave a testimony for the Lord. And you might not have done it in a while, but you just did it publicly to a lot of people that are watching this live and people that are going to repeat later and watch the rewind. And you just made a proclamation of, I love the Lord. Well, let me say it, too. I love the Lord, too. I'm not going to let you get one up on me, Evelyn. But thank you for being here. I love you. Evelyn Whitney, good night. Randy says good night. And Evelyn is saying good night to Randy. Randy's giving a thumbs up. Norm, you're coming in late, buddy. Midnight? Seriously? Merry Christmas, Peter. Good evening to Greggies around the world. Hi, Norm. Hi, Norm. We love you, Norm. You're part of the family. There we go. Philip says, my wife and I pray for you. See, I got somebody that prays for me. Do you know people in your life? Now, this is a serious thing. And I'm not telling you to go shopping, okay? But do you know that there's some people that there's just nobody around to pray for them? You know, and sometimes I wonder, like, I'll pray for somebody that I just met for like 2 minutes. Or I might even just see them on TV. And their child might have committed suicide or something and this or that. And I'll just stop and say a prayer for them. Because you got to think, who's praying for some of these people? It might just be you. It might just be me. So prayer is like super important. So Phil says, my wife and I pray for you. And physically, we're not there to give you a hug, but we can give you a virtual hug. God bless you, Peter. Thank you, Phil. Sometimes I need it. I'm not embarrassed to say that. Other people do, okay? Other people do too, I should say. We all need that special attention. And when I'm alone and everything, I turn to the Lord. And that's when my mind goes negative. Maybe God's too busy. The box of spaghetti answers my questions now. So when I have that thought that God's too busy, no. He's in my spaghetti stick all through my life, 100% attention. Okay? It satisfied me. It doesn't satisfy you, that's okay. Randy saying hi to Norm and later Peter and everybody else. Randy says, have a great week, everybody. Good night. Good night, y'all. I love you. I will see you during the week on Sly's show on Lewis tomorrow night. And Friday night, God willing, and the bridge isn't up, we'll be here. And we'll be getting closer to Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.